Hello everyone, this is one of my first videos on YouTube kind of. So I thought I would just make this video, but I mainly wanted to just talk about how much I spent living in California. And just like a little message, like I don't regret living in California one bit. It was really fun. I had an enjoyable experience. I learned some things, but I'm not gonna lie, it's expensive. I also mainly want to make this video just to anyone who came from like a small town or just any place and has the desire to move to California, which I most definitely did. I moved out when I was 18. I was very, very young, like fresh out of high school. And I just always wanted to live in California, but I think I just didn't have like the realistic expectation of how expensive it was going to be, especially since I didn't have any family out there, not any close family, I should say. So I was just like financially independent. So like no one supported me. I didn't come from like an upper middle class family or anything like that. It was just all financially supported by myself, just through working and all that kind of things. And in total, probably my estimate for what I spent in California, I lived there, just for context, I moved there like post-COVID, kind of post-COVID, 2022, so I was 18. So it's like 3 years, 8 months I stayed there, almost. It would have been almost 4 years, technically. But I ended up, of course, moving back to my hometown, which is a whole nother reason of why I moved back. I had my own reasons to come back. But overall, I don't regret spending time in California. I definitely spent probably over an estimate like $35,000 just living in California overall, just from living expenses, having fun there occasionally, transportation, etc., just basic necessities. And then I thought it would be fun to go over the breakdown of how much it costs to live there for anyone that is curious. As a young person in her 20s that had to live independently there. Yeah, so just to get into it, first off, the rent. That's probably the number one thing. The rent, I'm not gonna say how much it was per month, but I did the math overall, and then I did count some other stuff. I lived in this very special place. It was a really, really, really crappy old house. Like, it's been there for like generations. Like, that's how old it was. So like it had a lot of problems. So I just did not realize how many problems it had. Like, there was a spider infestation, I had an ant infestation, the bed broke twice, the mattress was stained, the walls need to be fixed. It was rough. So, and of course, when it comes to like, you know, if it's like a rough place, of course, it's like a fixer-upper, but like, I don't think people realize how expensive fixer-uppers are if you're like trying to, or if you have an issue with the room already. And keep in mind, nothing was told at all from like the landlord. Like, he didn't tell me about the ants, the spiders, like none of those issues. They never told me. So overall, just like on rent, spending on it is around $14,800 from all the time I lived there. And then when it came to repairs, when I was looking at past purchases, these are just like estimates, by the way. So when I had to fix the wall, when I had to get rid of the ants, the spiders, fix the bed, repair my stand, just all the furniture stuff. Oh, I had to get a refrigerator, microwave, toaster oven. There's all the little things that built up. It was like an estimate of $1,000 plus over the years of when I had those problems. Oh, and I had a gnat problem. I had a serious gnat problem. There were so many problems with that room. So many problems. Which is why you don't rent from a shady person. That is the lesson you should learn from me. So that was a lot of money. So with the gnat problem, with all the bug spray I had to buy and the gnat traps, it was probably $1,050 actually. Yeah. So overall, with the rent and then what all the repairs I had to do, probably $15,850. Yeah. So that's how much I had to spend, just rent and the room. Now, the second biggest cost would be transportation. So even though like California generally need a car to get around, I do have my driver's license, but again, since I didn't have any family, I was financially independent, I was paying a lot of bills already, so like I didn't want like a car on top of that, you know? And I think people underestimate how expensive cars are. You can get a car in California. You can. It's possible. But you need to think about insurance, gas, emergency fund if something were to fuck up with your car, repairs, and just other miscellaneous things. I feel as though there's just a lot of stuff that comes with the car, and I just did not have the money to do that. And another thing I should add, since the house I was living in was super, super old in the neighborhood overall, there was no garages where I was living. Or one to two houses had them, but it's only if they were like these really big apartment complexes. The house I was living in was not meant to be like this apartment complex for like multiple people. So they had no fucking garage. So all of it was just street parking. And the thing is with the street parking, you know, there's people, and there's literally people that would dump trash like on the cars and of course bip the windows. And I didn't want to have a fucking car after a long day of work having to worry about parking it somewhere nearby the house. And then on top of that, having to lock the wheel and then possibly someone bipping the window and just like all those things. I just didn't want to have to worry about that. Hence why it just logically didn't make sense to me to go and purchase a car. You know, and then gas is very expensive in California, specifically in California. So it didn't make any sense to me. So I just never ended up getting a car. I just used public transportation, and the public transportation is not that bad in California, you know? So I was like, you know, it was okay for me to bear with. Although I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it would kind of be a pain in the ass when it would come like an hour late occasionally. So yeah, but down to the transportation costs. Overall, I mainly used it for work, and usually back and forth I was using the bus. Eventually I slowly started using BART. BART's more expensive, especially with the distance. I was working in San Francisco for a bit. It's so fucking expensive. If you're using it 5 days a week, get that fucking discount. I didn't know they had a 50% discount. I would have used that. So it's very expensive to use BART like for a month. I was so shocked every time I saw the bill for BART, using it for a month. And then besides that, occasionally I would use like an Uber or Lyft that I really, really had to go to work or like something had happened. It was like for emergencies. Then I would use Uber or Lyft, but that was very occasional, like maybe like once or twice a month. I would not like promote it to use excessively because that's expensive, especially going over the bridge. So overall in transportation, like a little estimate from all the years I lived there, it's around 7,270 plus, just for using transportation, which is still quite a lot to me. I mean, maybe not as a lot as maybe having a car, but I'm still shocked when I saw that amount. Like, how is it $7,000 just to take public transportation? It's not even good public transportation. I don't know. Oh God. So other stuff, more of the fun stuff, kind of. None of this really sounds fun. This is all kind of depressing to see the numbers. This is more like, I don't know, I thought I'd add clothes as like a thing because like I know, because especially like I didn't really like, I'm not really one to go shopping. I'm pretty frugal, especially over the years. It's just gotten more like, I've gotten more frugal over the years. So like the only clothes I would purchase would be like for work, I notice. Like for example, like my most recent addition would be like my work pants from Uniqlo. That was $40. That was for work, you know. Or like my shirt from Shein. That was for work also. That was $5. So stuff like that. Or when I had to go to like a trade program, they required scrub uniforms. So that was a lot more money. Like each uniform was $20. So, and that was like several, like 3-4 uniforms. So overall, that was like $150 just on clothes. Which honestly isn't that bad. For the amount of time I stay there, that's not that bad. And usually when I get clothes, I try to get them like used on Amazon or just from like, you know, from someone else if I can. If I have to buy new, then I have to buy new. Okay, fun purchases. I didn't really hang out that much. Like my fun purchases were probably just eating out if I could. And then other fun like purchases would be like I did get piercings. I know it doesn't look like it, but like I have like one earring in, but I have like, you know, these two piercings. I did have one like additional one at the top of my ear over here, but I had to take that out because there was an infection. So I did spend quite a bit on piercings. Piercings are expensive in California. I'm not sure how much they are in other states, but in California, they're really expensive. And I even got the discounted piercing. That's a crazy thing. And they're still really expensive. So piercings, let's see, eating out, the occasional times I would hang with my friend. Like there was a couple times I was invited to a festival, like a food festival. So that was another one. And like say like if I wanted to like purchase a little, like go to a bookstore, purchase a book, like miscellaneous fun stuff like that, I would consider like fun to fuel my hobbies, my non-existent hobbies. So overall that was like honestly not that bad, like 1,500. That's not that bad, right? I mean, over like almost 4 years. I don't know. I mean, the festivals were definitely very overpriced. Like one of the food festivals I went to in the Bay Area, I forgot what it was called, but their food was really fucking expensive. It was like $15 just for like some meat skewer, you know? So to me, that's a lot. I wouldn't do that again. But you know, it was fun hanging out with my friend. It just wasn't fun to spend that type of money. Oh, and then I would go to like Japantown maybe with my friend, or like Chinatown, like stuff like that would be considered like fun eating out stuff. But I always tried avoiding eating out unless I was going with a friend, or if it was like a new place where I'm like, okay, I haven't spent this much money in a few weeks, like let me just go and take myself out like on a solo date. So that's kind of like my fun purchase. Okay, phone bill. This wasn't that bad. It was like 300 over the almost 4 years. That's not bad at all. And then like the let's see, did I ever have to repair it? No, I did have to change my phone case because mine's got fucked up. So I did add, so technically with the phone case, 320, because I wanted a really good phone case. And then, oh, and some new chargers as well, because one of mine's got stolen. So you could add that as well. Just miscellaneous stuff like that related to my phone. And then subscriptions. Most of it, I would say it's Spotify. I need my Spotify. So the other ones, let's see. I don't have Netflix. I definitely don't have Disney Plus, like that kind of stuff, because I don't see the point of them. Like I might as well just stick with YouTube. So I just watch with YouTube. I did have ChatGPT subscription for a bit, I ain't gonna lie, but I just didn't really like it, so I got rid of it after a while. So it's probably some from that. And then, oh yes, I did have a subscription for my school for a brief period, and then I got rid of it. So that's probably also counting that. So overall, that's like $170 plus. That was the estimate. And then another thing I counted, of course, when I had vacation time, usually to visit my family or my boyfriend, I added those costs. Again, a rough estimate, because usually I would have to fly. When I was with my family, I didn't need a hotel, but like with my boyfriend, sometimes I'd need a hotel. So hotel, food, just fun going out stuff. And that would probably, that be it for travel. Yeah, obviously flight would be the most expensive part. But overall, when I was looking at it, was kind of hard to get an estimate. I would probably say 3,000 because flights were expensive, especially when I went to visit my family and my boyfriend this summer. It was expensive. So yeah, 3,000. Yeah. And then I can't think of honestly anything else I really spent money on. Overall, I've just been trying to be really frugal when I was living in California, just making every dollar count. But yeah, that was a very interesting experience for me, just to see all those numbers. And then reflecting back, again, I don't regret my experience living in California, but I mainly made this as like, I wish I had someone that slapped me in the face and was like, hey, it costs this much to live in California, this, and that. And I wish I knew, because I think I was so in like, whatchamacallit, like the rose-colored glasses. Like, I was so in the dream of just living it up in California. And I had honestly all these things I wanted to do in California that I still was never able to do, because guess what? I was fucking working. So even all the things I wanted to do in California, I never got to do because I was working, trying to pay the bills, and so on and so forth. So it's just, I made this for any person that's living in a small town, maybe not even a small town, that wants to live in the big, some kind of big city, just in California, you know, just as like a fun video to like answer any curious questions on like how much it could be. But obviously everyone's situation is gonna be different. And there's also nothing wrong with getting family help. For me, for my situation, I just didn't really have much of that. So for me, it was just mainly me working 2 to 3 jobs and just trying to support myself. But yeah, now I am living back with my parents and trying to save up more money. I'm not sure if I would move back to California permanently again. Definitely I would visit. I now have friends there, so I would definitely go back and visit. But yeah, I hope you guys really like this video. Maybe I'll make another one. If you guys have any other questions, just I guess put it in a comment. I don't know. But anyways, that's it for this video. Bye-bye.